Welcome back. If you're watching this on a saved video, good to see you. Nobody's here live yet. It always takes a minute or two for people to filter in. And then we just got to make sure everything's set up and working correctly. There we go, getting TikTok chat pulled up. We got YouTube pulled up. Very good. Let me scoot everything over here so I can read it. Yay. I'm just working on weaving in some ends. I keep saying I'm going to do that, and I finally am getting, if there's really not that many. That's the nice thing about something small like this. It's not overwhelming. So, hi Brianna, good to see you. And is it Brianna or Brianna? I know there's, I had two really good friends in high school that spelled their names different ways, or pronounced it different ways, but it was spelled the same. So, Brianna. Okay, it's Brianna. I will try my very best to remember that. I'm sure you get called Brianna all the time, and I'm sure it's so annoying. I actually feel so bad for my daughter-in-law, who I call Sonia, and her whole family calls her Sonia, and it makes me feel really awful. But for whatever reason, Sonia stuck in my head, and I can't not call her that now, and I feel really, really awful about it. She says not to feel bad because that was the way it was intended to be pronounced, but I still do feel bad. She's just one of my favorite people out there, and I know how frustrating it can be to have your name mispronounced. Hey, little bird, good to see you. Hey, thanks for the popular arrow and the heart. Thank you. Brianna says, I do. It doesn't even faze me anymore. Yeah. So I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and my name is Mia. And there was really not very many Mias floating around back then. There was Mia Farrow, and there was Mia Hamm, the soccer lady. And I mean, those are the only ones. And I never had met anybody else named Mia. And then all of a sudden, in the very late 90s, I feel like everyone started naming their kids Mia. And finally now people pronounce my name Mia, but I have been called Maya my whole life. And people would, I'd say, oh, it's actually Mia. And they'd be like, oh, okay, great. Sorry about that, Maya. It's like, oh my word, we got to pay attention. So just gonna, guys, I'm just getting started on a couple of, hey, writing is fun is here. Good to see you. Yay. I'm just weaving in my ends. I have 2 more to go. I do like to keep these cleaned up. It's just so much nicer to not do it at the end, in my opinion. I've heard other people say that they just hate it so much they put it off, but I'm one of those types of people that if there's something I don't want to do, I try really, really hard to get it over with. So I, you know, I'm not trying to sound like I think I'm better at that than other people. It's literally, I think it's a survival tactic. If there's something I don't want to do or something coming up that I'm not looking forward to doing, I'll usually try to just do that thing first. And so weaving in ends is not my favorite, and I spend a lot of time not weaving them in at the end. And I'm always really happy at the end that I did it, although right now it's not fun. Writing is fun said, I'm so far behind you, which I expected. Oh, you know, Little Bird over on TikTok. And Little Bird, you are also on YouTube, right? I'm pretty sure that I know who you are on YouTube as well. Do you post videos on YouTube of your stuff or just on TikTok? So writing is fun. I'm not sure if Little Bird posts on YouTube also, but I know she's there. And hers is even bigger than mine. She's like already got the bottom lip of the pot going. It's kind of cool seeing it. Brianna says, I'm finishing up Mother's Day gifts, so I have to catch up this weekend. Yeah, so the only thing that's not stressing me out about this right now is I'm so glad we're doing this one live so I don't feel under pressure, like I'm falling behind. But I've got 2 projects that I have to get finished very soon. I feel like this weekend I'm probably going to sit on my bed. I have the world's most comfortable bed. So if you guys ever hear me say, oh, I'm in my bed crocheting, it's not laziness, it's not anything. It's just literally the most comfortable piece of furniture in my house. It's amazing. It's got all the bells and whistles. It's just the best bed in the world. So I spend a lot of time. Plus, the way my house is situated, none of my furniture points at windows, and I really love to look outside. So from my bed, I can look outside. Anyways, I'll probably spend a lot of time in bed this weekend working on this graduation gift. I am on, okay, Little Bird says I'm on YouTube. I don't post much there. I didn't, I think I figured out who you were probably based off of your profile picture over there. But I didn't follow you back over there. I think I remember you don't really do much over there on YouTube. I didn't either at the beginning, but then my husband said, hey, like YouTube shorts are, a lot of people are on YouTube. I just think this short form social media that's really popular right now, I didn't know much about it. So when I was watching TikToks, it was just to make sure, like get an idea of what my kids were watching. And then also, it sounds funny, but stay up a little bit with some of the current slang and lingo because it changes so much. It's crazy. Hey Christy, good to see you. I'm glad you're coming in. Little Bird, YouTube changed something and I haven't figured out how to upload over there. Oh, I only know how to do it on my phone, and I just hit the plus button, and then it asked me if I want to upload or do whatever. But that's on my phone, on my app on my phone. And also, I don't remember if that's for the longer videos. I haven't uploaded a longer video in a while. Oh my gosh, I have one more. You know what? Should I? Okay, it's already 3 minutes past the time I would normally start, and I don't want somebody coming to watch a video later and get stuck watching me weave in ends. That's not cool. All right, let me get these sorted. I'm gonna get to work on row 25. Row 25 is 5 terracotta, 22 linen, 1 black, 24 terracotta, 1 black, 22 linen, and 5 terracotta. So that's what we have going on there. Let me just throw my extra baskets over here. Get my working basket ready. All right, I'm gonna start this row with 5 terracotta. Surprise, surprise, the same thing it starts with every single time. Writing is fun says, thank you for the compliments on my post. And that was sincere. You guys, I do not do insincere compliments. I'd rather not say anything at all than say something that I don't truly feel. It doesn't mean I've never given an insincere compliment. Like that's, you know, like you can't tell somebody, oh, that's a horrible outfit that you're already stuck wearing. Like sometimes you just have to try to be nice, but that was a very sincere compliment. Your stitches look so nice and even. I'm so proud of you. You're doing a really, really good job. It's me says, what are you making? All right, so I'm working on a tapestry blanket. This is a crochet along that it's a small throw. It's not a blanket. This is one of 4 panels though. So when I'm done, it will be a blanket. This is a crochet along that we started last Friday. You guys, I'm switching over to 22 linen now, so I'm going to take care of those real quick. So I started this last Friday. We're only a week into it. And all of my lives are saved on YouTube too. So feel free to hop over to YouTube, find me in the same username, and you can catch up if you want. But it's a tapestry blanket. Up in the upper left-hand corner for you, I believe, should be a picture of the tapestry we're working on. Have you done tapestry before? It's me. Little Bird said it hadn't been a priority. I will look at it. I did update it today. Yeah, I can understand that too. I've got some things like Snapchat I get into once an eon, but my daughter Snapchats me. My daughter-in-law sends me snaps of her kids, so I get in there and catch up on all my watching. So same type of thing. Brianna, I did buy the little baskets today to help with all the little balls not getting tangled. Let me know what you think of that, please. I have been really, really bad about actually following my own rule regarding, you know, the ball of yarn that I'm working on should only be getting pulled out of a basket by itself, and I get distracted while I'm working on this live, but you shouldn't have tangling issues if you keep the ball that you're working on separate from the other ones, and if you always flip your work the same direction and then figure out how to uncross the baskets so that the yarn is not tangled. And then once you get in those two habits, I've not had any problems at all, except for when I'm on lives. I know that sounds funny to say I don't have these problems, as I constantly give myself these problems, but I'm very distracted on the lives. So Karen, oh Karen, you're here. Thank you for the heart. I'm glad to see you. KK's is here, like my oldest niece and cousins. Dupe was the biggest lie. Yeah, do you remember that? What was the word? It was knockoff. Do you remember when we would just say knockoff? Everything was a knockoff, and now it's all dupe. And dupe used to mean to like trick somebody or hoodwink them or fool them or whatever. Like dupe didn't mean a duplicate of something, so we said a knockoff, and now they're saying dupe. Thanks for the follow. Is it Kiani? How do you pronounce your name? That is gorgeous, Kiani. KK is the new lingo and slang. Yes, it's crazy. Spam's in the house. Everybody watch out, Spam's here. Okay, so I just did my one black stitch. I didn't announce it before I did it. I'm sure you saw it happening. Put that over there, and let's grab, I've got more baskets than I need right now. Also, another thing, don't forget to cross off your things. Right now it's not that big of a deal because these aren't very big, but there will be some. Yeah, there's some that have many more lines. Right now I'm just looking at 3 little lines in this column of instructions, but it will get more complicated later. I do too much. Just joined the chat. I like that username. So over there on YouTube, writing is fun. Are you crafting tonight, or resting, or doing chores, or writing? What are you working on tonight? You've always got something new and interesting going on. I love it. I had one of those weird kind of days where it just felt like the more I did, the more tasks I was creating for myself. Like the more things I got done at work, the more tasks each thing ended up creating for later. So I've been really looking forward to crocheting, and I actually worked a really long time, like 10 hours or something, and I worked from my house. So I sat down at 7 and didn't leave my computer till almost 5. And then had dinner. So this is the first crocheting I'm doing. Last night I didn't get hardly anything done either. I'm going through a little bit of a busy spurt at work. So there will be less crochet videos coming from me for a bit. I will still be crocheting, but it won't be as often, minus on the lives. And then I'll get some rounds done on the giveaway blanket as well. So, all right, 24 terracotta is next on the list. I'm pretty sure this is 24 if I finish out this stitch. I'm going to look real quick. I do want to count. I haven't counted the terracotta rows for a while. I always look at the row above. So if it says to do 24 terracotta and I know the row below it, the instructions also said 24 terracotta, stands to reason if I start on, if my first terracotta stitch on my top row lines up with the one below it, stands to reason I should have 24 stitches here. But I do like to count every once in a while just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I have 24. Switch over, we're gonna do 1 black. Okay, you go over there, pick up the black, put him in the new working basket. This basket's full, so that's why I put this ball in here. I don't like to cram them in there too many times either, because also when you're trying to pull them out, usually the last one you use, or the first one you need after you turn over, is the one on the bottom. So the baskets were cheap enough. Brianna, where'd you get your baskets from? Did you get them from the Dollar Tree? I'm just curious if they still, I can't imagine they quit selling these. I feel like I see them every time I go in there. I love the Dollar Tree. I love going in there. I don't love that they're putting in so many more expensive things. I don't mind that they're raising their prices though. I gotta be honest, because that thing was the Dollar Tree in the 90s. And when I was younger and first started going to the Dollar Tree, until they raised it to $1.25, I just slowly watched the quality decline, which of course it has to. How can the prices stay the same, but the quality stay the same without the prices increasing? If everything else increases, of course the Dollar Tree has to get more expensive. So I'm not really concerned. You know, I wouldn't mind if every item was $2 in there. I just wish that every item was the same price. And I know they're adding things that are worth more than $2. So I get the concept. I understand why they're doing it, but it was nice when I could just go in and count, okay, everybody grab 5 items. That was one of our favorite things to do with the kids. Go in there and have a shopping spree at the Dollar Tree where you can buy 7 things if you want. If it was just a consistent price, I think it would be so much funner. Brianna says 2-pack for $1.50. Okay, yeah, and that's where prices have changed. I got mine in 3 packs for $1.25. And again, prices are increasing. They get all their stuff from China. There's tariffs and stuff. Like, that's just what's going to happen right now. So it's the way of the world. Oh, Writing is Fun said, I'm at the Tapestry tonight. I might hop on and add a new layer to my tea-stained paper. Of course you have another craft I didn't know about. I will likely burn the edges and add song lyrics and poetry later. I love that. Can I tell you, I did that when I was younger. I was obsessed with I didn't do tea staining. We used to use other things. We used to use like onion leaves and stuff. It's the same stuff we used to use to dye clothing. But yes, we used to stain papers and stuff, and then I would burn around the edges and draw a picture or write something in there. I loved that. I love that form of art. All right, so let's see. Karen says, I got my baskets from Hobby Lobby. Oh, that's right. Hobby Lobby. What was the price on those over there, Karen? Beth Stitches, oh my gosh, how is the color change? How is the color change? Okay, Beth, I want to make sure I understand your question. So if you can just elaborate, so I understand what your question is. If you're asking how do we do the color change, I'm happy to do a quick demonstration on here if that is your question. But I also made a video about this last week, I think, and did a whole thing about why the color change needs to be done the way that it is, if that's your question. So I'm sorry if I'm misunderstanding you. Brittany said, now this is smart. Hey, Brittany, it's good to see you, and thank you. Are you talking about the baskets, I assume? The baskets, I tell you, the first one of these I did it basketless. Come here, buddy. And just kind of laid all the yarn out in front of me, and the nightmare when turning this over, when you got 30 balls of yarn hanging off the edge of your thing. I tried doing the clips. I've seen clips and clothespins and different things where you kind of clip it to the edge of your work and then wrap the yarn around. I had issues with that. One, because I didn't want to constantly be unwinding and winding these little bits of string. I wanted to be able to have a substantial amount of yarn to work with. And then also, when they were all clipped to the edge, I felt like my edges were always being pulled down from the weight of the clips. So I'm stitching, and all my blanket is, let's see, down like this, and then it was stretching my working edge. It was driving me nuts. So then I just grabbed the baskets. Karen says $3.49 for 2. That's not bad at all. No. And Little Bird said, when I was a kid, we went to TG&Y. I always went for the paint number. Oh, paint by number. I loved paint by number too. I don't know what a TG&Y is. I'm assuming it's another one of those little bargain stores, since that's what we were talking about. I used to love paint by number. I loved anything art. I loved drawing. I have done some like graffiti art, not on the bridge. Or, you know, I'm not that type of person. But I have done like graffiti art where I've taken Sharpies and did like when I first met my husband, I did his name on his wall, and I got comments for a lot of people for a long time saying, there's no way you drew that, but I did. I really did. So, all right. Brittany says, yes, the baskets. Okay. So Brittany, if you like this basket idea, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here when I turn to keep my stuff from tangling. Little Bird says, old school dollar store. Hey, Gigi, good to see you. Oh, TG&Y is an old school dollar store. That makes sense. All right, so you guys, I have the 2 baskets. For those of you who've not seen this yet, I've got 2 baskets of yarn. I'm actually going to, just for the sake of showing you guys what this looks like. Let me get this stuff sorted there. Now I have 4 baskets because eventually I will probably have up to 6 baskets on this particular one because I'll probably have 20-ish balls of yarn. So I expect to have between 4 and 6 baskets as the time goes. So when it's time for me to flip, I always flip left to right, and I grab the left and I bring the right under. So I go over from left to right, and then I start with my left-hand side basket, and it goes all the way to the far left. Pick up the next far basket. It goes to the left of the one that's now on the far right. Scoot these over and do this. And because I did it that way, now all the yarn that used to be on this side of the blanket, when I first folded the blanket, it flipped over like this. And so then I basically just unwound the baskets, untangled the baskets from each other. So that's what I do there. I can show you guys again if you ever need to see that. Writing is fun, said I burnt myself on tea and left the hot liquid to cool, fell asleep, and now I have extra tea I didn't want to waste. That's a smart way to use that too. I do love, and what kind of paper do you use? Anything special? We just used, I think I was using like probably lined notebook paper when I was doing this. We were not a family with a ton of money, so we used what we had, and I tell you what, it taught me to be super grateful for everything I can afford today. Every art and craft that I can go to the store with my own money and buy whatever I want and fulfill all my little crafting fantasies. I still am so grateful to be able to do something like that. I'm blessed that I live in an area where I have multiple craft store sources, and I definitely know what a privilege that is. Brittany says that makes sense. Okay, good. If I ever am doing something and you want more info on it, let me know. That was kind of the point of this crochet along too. There was a bunch of people I knew that wanted to try tapestry, and I would get a lot of comments. Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. I just started row 26. Let me back up so I'm not being rude. For those of you who are watching this later and trying to catch up with the crochet along, if you're not working off of the pattern, row 26 will be 5 terracotta, 22 linen, 1 black, 24 terracotta, 1 black, 22 linen, and 5 terracotta. So, and if you are watching this later and you don't love reading patterns, I would probably encourage you still to go just take a peek at it, because tapestry patterns are literally, everything's done in 1 stitch, right? I'm using the half double. Some people use a single crochet. I do the half double crochet. You're supposed to be in your own basket. So it's 1 stitch and just color changes. That's it. And then you can make anything you want. Writing is Fun has typewriter paper that was left over from who knows when my mother got it. A long time ago. If it's, yeah, actual typewriter paper, that'd be cool. I forgot about typewriter paper. I forgot about typewriters. My dad, when I was younger, my dad started a club, an ultralight club. Ultralights are these little single person, sometimes 2 people, but single person, not even airplanes. Like, it was like a hang glider with a motor on it. So anyways, he did a whole newsletter for his little club. And despite the fact that it was the mid-90s, I got to type that bad boy up every month on the typewriter. So that was crazy. Crazy life. Brittany says, what do you do when you need more of a color? So I'm actually going to be coming up on that situation here soon. But when you need more of a color, I join in. So like when this one runs out, I just have others. So I've actually got some pre-rolled balls of yarn here. I would just grab another one in and add it. And I add it the exact same way that like if I'm joining a new color or when I'm switching between the 2 colors. And again, I made a video on doing that, but I do the exact same thing. If I'm joining in a new color, a new ball, I just add it in like I'm doing a color change, even though I'm not. And then Brittany, I am doing, I've lost my mind. I've just lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm doing a reversible pattern. Sorry about that. Meaning I am weaving in all of my ends. So when I add a new ball of yarn, or I switch colors or need to add in a new thing, that's why I'm working with so many balls of yarn instead of dragging my yarn across the back of the pattern like this. And a lot of people do this. There's nothing wrong with that. You see how I have those yarns there? A lot of people do this. I don't. I want something that looks the same on the front as the back. So I would have a separate ball of black yarn for this one stitch. And then I'd have this color here. And then this side also has its own little ball of black yarn attached. So, and then I just weave in the ends when I'm finished, you know, if I'm finished the stitches, or if I need to add more, I just weave all the ends in. Brianna says, yes, read the pattern. I personally feel tapestry patterns are the easiest to follow. I agree with that. Out of anything, like, these are the easiest to follow. And I feel like it's actually kind of hard to do the stuff without it. I'm trying to say the numbers because I did have somebody request it because they said, I really hate patterns. And I was like, all right, I have no problem saying the numbers. But I feel like I get distracted a lot too. I'm probably more confusing than anything. Beth Stitches, are you doing back loop only? No, I'm doing both loops. Both loops. Brittany, nice. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at your videos. I want to learn tapestry. Go look at them. I made several videos on this tapestry series, and then I'm live every night around this time. So it's at 6:30 Mountain Time. I go live for about an hour. I'm working on this blanket, but if you have any specific questions, I am more than happy to answer them for you. I can do demonstrations, and I think you should give it a try, because if you can do a single crochet or a half double, I pick half double because if I do a swatch, and that's another thing, to make sure you pick the right stitch for your tension. So do a swatch of like 10 stitches wide and 10 rows long. And then do that in single crochet, and then do the same thing in half double crochet, and then see which one of those is most square. Neither one of them is probably going to be super square. For me, my single crochet one is rectangular and really short and fat like a hamburger, whereas half double crochet was a little taller than it was wide, so it's a little bit hot dog, but not as skewed as the other one. So for me, half double crochet is the stitch type I use for tapestry, and that's tapestry. That's it. So here I'm reading the pattern. My next thing says to do 24 terracotta. So I'm changing my color from black to terracotta, picking up my terracotta here, and I'm going to crochet 24 half double crochet stitches, and that's it. And then the next thing tells me to do one more black stitch and this many of linen. And the pattern that's up in my corner thing there is free. So you can go, if you're on TikTok, and you are on TikTok, head over to my my links. Go to my link, and it's just a downloadable pattern. So I've got the written pattern where I put out the numbers like linen 22, black 3, or whatever. There's also this version of the downloadable pattern. I'm not partial to these. I'm trying to get up here close. I'm not partial to these, but it's basically got a little graph. Each of these big squares is, I think, a 10 by 10. So some people like to just count it out this way. So I did both versions of the pattern for whatever works best. And anytime you've got questions, let me know. I think tapestry is so much fun. It is so versatile. You can make anything. Writing is fun says, homework tally today. Yes. Biology and geometry. The school's internet was out today, so I couldn't do any biology. Oh. If you're not able to do, like, if the internet is... Wait, your internet was out, so you couldn't do any biology? They don't teach anything without the internet? Is that what you're saying? And that concept is foreign to me, again, because I went to school before internet was required to live any part of your life. I'll tell you one thing, I will never be sad about GPS. GPS is my favorite thing. Of all the technological advances that happened since I was a child, I actually thought when MapQuest first came out, I was so relieved for that. But back when I was a young whippersnapper, if I needed to go somewhere in my town, I pulled out the phone book and looked at the maps in the front of the phone book, and you have to find the block, you have to find the numbers based on the address, tells you how far north, south, east, or west you are of your 0 blocks. And then I would have to go in my phone book in the yellow pages section and find the maps, and then from there just navigate with no GPS. One time I went on a road trip and I drove using just a paper map. I don't even know how. I would never do that now. I wouldn't trust myself with a map. I'd be scared. Normally the curriculum is just notes, worksheets, and paper. Oh, and you're doing a research paragraph. Okay, I see. So yeah, of course you need the internet for that. All right, so you guys, I just did my 24 terracotta and my 1 black, and I'm about to do my 22 linen and finish out with my last 5 terracotta. And that will be a wrap on row 26. I constantly interchange the word round and row now because I've worked so many patterns in the round. Are we coming up on anything fun? All right, no, the pot's just about to get a little bit bigger. I get in these little ruts where I want to see the next thing happening. It's hard to go through these kinds of sections where there's like a lot of white space. It's helpful for my lives, obviously, but in real life, like this is like trudging through the barren wasteland. Hey Kim, good to see you. Writing is fun said, I miss phone books. If only we still had them, or if I ever had one, which I didn't. When I lived in South Carolina a couple years ago, I got a phone book on my doorstep the first year, and I was like, have I stepped back into the past? But then I guess that was the last one they published. So I remember, I think it was every year we used to get them, and you'd come home from school and there'd be a big old fat bucket. We actually got 2 in my town. Our residential stuff was separate from the business stuff, so we had white pages and the yellow pages, but they were done in separate books. I don't know why. Maybe it was more expensive to mix the 2 page colors. And then when I moved from my small town that I grew up in out to the Denver area and came out here, and there was these like fat phone books, fat. And then I thought I had really graduated to the big city now, boys. I have made it. So I'd always, because I grew up in a small town, smallish town, of course, I wanted to live in a larger city. So I know Denver's not huge compared to some, but it's huge compared to what I grew up in, and Colorado is amazing. I love it. Sometimes I see TikToks or YouTube shorts where people are saying how horrible it is here, and I don't understand it. Where did you grow up at? Where were you living that this is so awful? Because I think it's beautiful here. We're close to the mountains, we're close to everything, but I don't know, I feel like the people are pretty friendly. All right, starting on row 27, I just did my 5 terracotta. And we're gonna go into 21 linen. So we're last time I was doing 22. Let me get him in his own basket though. And I'm about to have to add in more linen. Oh, both of my linen are running low. Oops. I'm gonna be rolling some yarn. So I try not to have to do that during these, you guys, and I'm sorry. I guess I just didn't realize that both of my little balls of linen were getting small. And I do only have the one other one. Am I working on, okay, I'm working on the wrong side of, or the right side, excuse me. I'm working on an odd numbered row, which means the right side of my project is facing me. So I need to keep all the yarn in the back. And let's see if I can whip out 21 stitches out of this last ball so I don't have to join something and have even more ends to weave in. Yarn chicken. Yarn chicken, bok bok. I don't want to mess with my tension here when working on something flat like this, I mean, usually what'll happen if I'm playing yarn chicken, you can usually adjust your tension to get a little bit more yarn if you need to by undoing some of the, shoot, I'm not going to make it. Okay. You can undo some of your yarn and recrochet just a little bit tighter. But on something like this, I wouldn't do that because I don't want any part of my stuff puckering. And I feel like on these, I feel like the little lines are really obvious when you're working on something of the same stitch type over and over like this. Like, I feel like I can see little inconsistencies really easily. And because I will be giving this away as I give away everything that I make, I want to make sure that the recipient wouldn't also see those inconsistencies. If this were my own project, I don't know that I would be quite as careful about it if this were something I was keeping, but because everything I make I give away, I tend to be real careful about my quality when I can. All right, joining in this linen, and I pulled my thing. I didn't pull it too tight. I still have both of my stitches there, but I can definitely feel one. I almost knotted that too tightly and would have lost a stitch. All right, it's supposed to be 21. I haven't counted my linen stitches in a while. Same as I say, I usually don't count every single row, but if you're not, if you drop stitches or have that type of habit, make sure you just count as you go. I'm counting every couple rows on these just to make sure I've not dropped anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so, or 10, that's 20 plus 1 is 21. We're going to do 2 black. And get those done. Come here, buddy. All right, 2 black. Cross these off so I don't get lost. Then we'll do 24 terracotta again. Pull him up. So I did 24 last time, and my very first terracotta stitch lines up evenly with the one right below it. So since I know that I had to do the same number of stitches each time, I won't count. I keep harping on that in case there's anybody new in here that's unfamiliar. I do think it's very, very important to count really frequently with something like this. The nice thing is if you count as you go along, like just double count any long patches, especially, right? If I'm going to be doing over 6 or 7 stitches, usually at that point, I know I can count to 8 with no problems. I don't have any problems with that, but I can't tell you how many times over the course of the 37 years that I've been crocheting that I have physically counted like 11 stitches, and then on the next row or round, something is off and I go back and somehow I only did 10 or I did 12. I don't know how it's possible, but it is. So a little glitch in my brain matrix, I guess. All right, 24 terracotta, 1 black. Oh, that's right, I'm gonna have to roll some linen. So switch to my black, pick up black. I'm gonna finish my 24th terracotta stitch with my black yarn. So just a reminder, when you get to the last stitch before your color change, that like this black, I only have to do 1. So I started my half double. I've got my 3, and instead of yarning over and pulling through to finish my stitch, I'm going to pick up the next color, yarn over, and pull through and complete it, because the loop that is on my hook, when I'm done with that, becomes the top of the next stitch. And if my next stitch is linen, I do not want the loop that's left on my hook to be black. That's why I don't complete that last stitch before the color change. Boy, this is a really thick and luxurious skein of linen. I've used linen in so many projects, and usually it's not this thick and fluffy. right. Oh, am I going to make it? Oh, this is going to be very close. I don't think I'm going to make it. Don't adjust your tension. Just be normal. Act cool. Oh, nope. Okay. 3 stitches short. Womp womp. The odds were not in my favor. So I'm just going to roll a little bit. Not a huge ball of it. But let me get this done real quick. Is anybody still out there? The chat kind of dried up. Is anybody still on TikTok? I know I've been just hogging the conversation. Writing, are you over there on YouTube? Ooh, there's a couple people on YouTube. Who's over there on YouTube? Say hi. Please say hi. I love seeing who's here and who talks to me. There was somebody the other day who was from, was it Poland? And we had somebody from the UK. Maybe I got a comment from Poland, which was very cool. Writing is fun, is there? Thank you. Karen is counting. And Brianna is just listening while I work on my mom's gift. Okay, cool. That's what I would do too. If I came over to a live, I would also just be working on something else and listening. And it's really hard to crochet and type at the same time. So lucky for me, I get to just talk. Oh, Sierra's Stitch Sanctuary. What an awesome name. Over on YouTube says, hi, new sub here and lurking. Thank you for lurking, Sierra. I love lurkers. Do you do, well, you're Sierra's Stitch Sanctuary, so I assume you crochet or knit or sew. But if I had to guess, if you're watching a crochet live, my guess is that you crochet. So if you do crochet, what do you crochet? Brianna, I don't think I've asked you before. What do you prefer? What are you making for your mom? What types of things do you usually make? I'm always interested. Over on YouTube, Writing is Fun makes hamsters. Actually, they make lots of stuff. Wizard hats, like all sorts of stuff. But my favorite was the day where they said they made a little hamster army. I will never forget that. Yes, Writing is Fun says I wouldn't leave. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you for that. It makes me feel like I've got friends. Friends I've never even met before. Shannon's here. Hey, Shannon. What are you working on tonight, Shannon? Or are you just coming by to say hi? Okay, you guys, I think that's enough. Like, winding yarn is not anyone's ideal crochet fantasy. I'm getting to the point, though, I really hate this. This is what I hate about center pole is now, like, I feel like I have to, and probably tomorrow before I go live, I need to just wind the rest of this. This is losing all of its structural integrity. Oh, and I'm gonna have to, no, I already did wind another one. Okay, that scared me. It's losing all its structural integrity, and I feel like a sneeze or the wrong move of any sort, I'm gonna end up with a massive tangle, and I don't feel like untangling that yarn. Writing is Fun says, I must continue crocheting all sorts of things. What do you do with everything when you're done with it, though? Like, I know you said, I think you made the hamster army for your little brother, but like, what do you do with your stuff? That's why I don't do plushies and that type of stuff, because I don't know what to do with it when I'm done with it. And so blankets just take a long time, and I crochet for the sake of crocheting. Like, I end up with stuff left when I'm done crocheting. That's why I give everything away, because I don't want the thing that I crocheted. I just wanted the act of crocheting. So I don't ever make anything for myself. Shannon says, not much, just stopping in to say hi. Thank you so much, Shannon, for saying hi, and thank you for coming by. Brianna is making a granny square shawl, but I knit and crochet pretty much anything. I only play on TikTok. Shannon says, I give them to kids. The plushies, you can never have too many blankets. You know, and I've got grandkids. I know. Look at this face. How could I? But I do. And I guess I could make plushies for them. I've got my 3 oldest grandkids are boys. So they were never into like stuffed animal things that much anyways. But my granddaughter, we finally got our granddaughter. I probably will make her some stuff. I really actually want to make her one of those little baby hexagon cardigans or whatever. Babies and sweaters are the cutest anyways. And then I've seen people make little miniature versions of those hexagon cardigans. Oh my gosh, my ovaries start glowing when I see it. So cute. So cute. It's not fair that when you have kids that they grow up and they move away and they go and have their own life. I miss babies so much. I have said before, and I will always continue to say, I wish there was a non-creepy way that we could make an app to match up empty nester people with some, like a mom or a dad who is just overwhelmed and needs help, or just needs to drop a kid off real quick so they go to the grocery store. And I know on the face of it, it always sounds great. I know in real life, you know, that's probably a huge red flag. Probably not a good idea to do that, but gosh, if I knew somebody with a baby who just needed time away to do whatever, I would take it because I miss babies. Oh, you only post on TikTok. When you said I only play on TikTok, or when I thought you said I only play on TikTok, I was like, oh, that's a cute way to say that. I had not thought about it that way. Brianna, yeah. Shannon says, I give them to kids. Oh, wait, I read that one before. I love seeing the kids smile when they get something like a little doll plushie. I should make some. I need to make something. I've got a little pattern for the, oh, dang it. What's the name of the book? The Hungry Caterpillar. There's that pattern, right? Where you can make the little body and then you make all the cakes and the different things that the caterpillar eats. So I do have that pattern. I will be making that at some point. And that'll be my very first attempt of doing anything that's non-blanket. The only other thing I've made before that wasn't a blanket was these sweaters that I've done videos on. And they are cocoon sweaters, and they are just blankets folded in half. So that's why I branched out to wearables. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Sierra Stitch Sanctuary says all of the above. So earlier I had asked you, what do you sew? I assumed it was crochet, knitting, or sewing. And you said all of the above. Today has been a finishing day. Oh, I love finishing days. Yes, those are the best. Made a garter stitch scrubby cloth for my kitchen counters with 2 ugly cottons and put together a few panels for a crochet chevron duster cardigan. Oh, and I casted off a washcloth for my makeup routine and 2 small eye makeup cotton rounds. It's been a handy items day. Yes, I would say so. I forget about those washable cotton makeup rounds. I make and have made my own washcloths and stuff like that because I feel like they work better. Cotton works better than some of the acrylic stuff that they're putting out there now. Writing is fun. Said, I hung up my vines. I have more to make. I wear any arm warmers I make and the hat. I'm still too new to give my work as gifts to anyone but close friends. You hung up your vines. Did you make vines? Did we talk about that before? Crocheted vines? That's cool. Please make sure I know that that's what that is. I feel like that is, though. Oh, Sierra says, crochet. I've got crochet vines all over my office. So fun. Blueberry. Hi, Blueberry. Blueberry's been crocheting for over 30 years and decided to try and make some amigurumi flowers for my mom. I hope I can finish in time for Mother's Day. What do you usually make, Blueberry? I've not done anything. Well, you just heard me say that. I've not done anything really besides blankets. So I'm always curious what other people are working on. And then, you know, if you primarily a blanket person, what made you branch out? Sierra Stitch Sanctuary. I'm 30 years old, but I love a new adopted dad anyways. Never forget the mouth. What did I miss? I missed a thingy over here somewhere. Blueberry. I love the way you spelled that too. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Yes. All right. You had one in the post you made. That's right. I don't know why I never made any of those for my daughter. She used to have the vines all over her room. I made her buy her own. I guess I didn't realize back then that we could do those though. Let's see. Shannon over on TikTok says, I have a pattern for a beautiful octopus I haven't gotten up the nerve to make yet. It's a mimic of the giant octopus. Oh, does it have are the legs twirly? I know I've seen the jellyfish ones. I've seen also people make these little wind swirlers and I haven't looked into it yet, but I'm always curious, like, what are they doing that's making it swirly like that? Is it just a big chain with a 2 double crochet in every one or something. I just need to look at it. I'm sure it's something very simple, but it looks really cool. Okay, so I got distracted here. I'm trying to do 21 linen. Last time I did 22. So I'm going to stop 1 stitch short of where I was last time. The wrong side of this blanket is facing me. I've talked about right and wrong sides of the work before. The wrong side is facing me, which is that, so all of my strings are coming out of this side. And I will always work. So when I'm getting ready to do this color change, instead of putting the color behind like I normally would, I'm going to pull it in front. But then I'm going to wrap it under my hook. Whoops, I'm getting caught up. I'm going to wrap it under my hook and then pull it behind my work. So it's really in front. It's wrapped right in here. You can see it's still in there. Got to bring all the yarn to the same side of my work, and I am weaving in all of my ends, so I will have a completely reversible project when I'm done, but there are some small carries on this side, so I'm going to keep them on the same side. All right, so we need to do 1 black. Let me cross off where I'm at so I don't forget. Shannon said the legs are stuffed as well, but have this section. Ooh, yes. Okay. That's very cool. When you start on that, would you do me a favor? If you can remember, just on one of your videos, if you ever make a video about it, would you comment, like, and tag me in one of your comments? I'm not asking you to tag me in the post. It's nothing weird like that, but I like to see people's work. And I feel like there's so many people, and I try to keep up with what everyone's doing because it's so beautiful. There's so many cool things. If I hadn't been stalking people's pages, what did I do here? Oh, I finished my black and then I didn't actually do the black stitch. Hilarious. If I hadn't been like lurking and stalking on people's pages, I would have never found the Floral Fantasia. Actually, I don't even think it was Floral Fantasia that I saw someone else doing. I think they were doing Lotus. And that was the first time I'd ever seen crochet with that level of detail, with all the fancy work and all the stitches. And if anyone here doesn't know what I'm talking about, you can go look at any of my recent posts of a pink and white blanket and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I just ran across that one day and I was completely mesmerized. And I had been on TikTok at that point for like 3 years when I saw that blanket for the first time. So I don't know how that many years had elapsed before I had seen something like that project, and it was so incredibly beautiful. So I always like to see what people are working on. Yes, she'll tag me. Thank you. The swirling is super easy. I know the ones you were talking about. Okay. How do they do it though? Is it like I just always imagine it's making a chain and then doing like 2 stitches into each chain space. Maybe that would just cause it to try. It seems like that would be what it is. All right, let's see. Blue, writing is fun said you could. Oh, that's right. I did crochet a mouse. I did crochet the mouse, although it was just a blob at the end of the yarn. I forgot I told you guys that story. It was just it wasn't a blob of yarn. I mean, it definitely crocheted a shape, but it didn't have ears or anything. Oh, I'll never forget that road trip. I miss being young. I was 27 back then. That was the year that I felt like I stopped aging. I've mentioned that before, but I feel like I'm 27 still. And that was a number of years ago. So, man, I just did the math. That actually made me a little bit sad. Sierra is tagging Blueberry. Crochet flowers are not for the faint of heart. I commend you. I made one, didn't make the bouquet. Oh, is it that bad? Are they that bad? Are the flowers that horrible? I've seen them. They're so cute. I've thought about making some of those too. Blueberry says, I love making blankets. My 15-year-old dog passed away last month. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I don't know what I'm going to do when my dog is no longer with me. So I can't even imagine. And to cope, I've thrown myself into crochet. That's a great therapeutic thing to do. My mom loves flowers, so why not make her some? Writing is fun says, I'm going to attempt a flower soon. Yay! Oh my gosh, I want to see it. Sierra says, Blueberry, I'm so sorry. Recently lost my 19-year-old cat. Oh, dogs and cats, you guys. It's hard, but it gets easier. I no longer cry when opening a can of tuna. Didn't know how to reply. Oh my gosh, you guys. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not thinking about that. I'm not borrowing trouble from the future. Writing is fun, says one of my friends said I act like 27, that I'm an old lady. 27 is not old. No, it's not. It does seem a lot more adult when you are younger than 27 than when you are much older than 27. But I think it's a compliment to be told that you act older, as long as it's, you know, you're still having fun and enjoying your life, which I think it sounds like you do. Obviously, I don't see what you do day in and day out, but I do love hearing about all the places you go, the little activities that you guys do. The volunteer work especially is very cool to me. Because I think I just shorted myself one of these. I think I need to do 25 terracotta. I only did 24, so let me do 25 terracotta and then 1 black. I grew up a little faster than I needed to, I think, because I had kids when I was young. I was 18 when I became a mother, so I always tell people I was an adult, I promise, but I was 18 when I was a mom. So there are, and I had a different kind of childhood too. So there, I grew up really, really fast, and it was fun when I had my own kids, watching them go through their teenage years and being able to be like, oh my gosh, just watching them get to be kids was amazing. Get to live vicariously through them. Sierra says, if 27 is old, I'm screwed at 30. Blueberry got the kit, thinking it was going to be a breeze, and yeah, these flowers have humbled me. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry. Shannon, over here, I didn't miss you. Yes, you could choose a half double or double crochet or mix after you do the chain. Okay, and then it would just be 2. I really like the look of those swirly things. I like the jellyfish. I've seen some of the jellyfish patterns, and again, I look at them and I think, what would I do with this when it's done? I wonder, actually, too, I'm being silly. You guys, I live in a large city. We've got children's hospitals here, too. I bet I could donate them at a children's hospital, right? Do they take stuff like that? Does anybody know if they take stuff like that? I can Google, and I will Google this at some point. But if anybody just knows off the top of their head, I just don't know if you're allowed to bring handmade stuff to a hospital. Like how, you know, at school you can't take handmade treats anymore. Everything had to be store-bought, so. All right. Sierra says, still have all the petal pieces of a gray and red rose. It'll get assembled one day. Keeping up 2 separate chats is talented. Well, okay, so I'm really lucky. My husband, I have a big monitor next to me, and I've got the 2 chats, and I do get distracted. I will tell you that for sure. And I'm always trying to remember to, like, say, okay, over on YouTube, this is what's going on, because I know at the beginning it was confusing because people weren't seeing all the chats. The NICU loves the octopus ones that have, okay, so I can. Thank you, Shannon. Shannon over on TikTok says the NICU loves octopus ones that have the swirlies because it's similar to the umbilical cord. All right, that's good to know. Right here, writing is fun. Nearby hospitals to me do. They're always looking for newborn baby caps. All right, well, now I got to go and have to make sure they're cleaned. That makes sense. Now I need to go do some research. Maybe I'll make that one of my projects when I've got to clear up some lips, but I have a lot of scrap yarn, 2 really cute colors, not even ugly ones. I would always want to do cute colors. Maybe I'll whip a few things out. I gotta try some of these now. Sounds like too much fun. So, all right, guys, it's a minute earlier than I would normally start signing off. I'm not going to leave right this second, but I'm going to just wind a little bit of yarn and say goodbye, start saying goodbye. So I don't want to start another row because I know it'll take me too long. And as I get later into the week, my brain really starts to fall off. Really, I try not to do anything really too brain heavy after 1 o'clock at work either, because I feel like what just happened? You just saw what happened. I glitch out, and it happens really, really bad at work and it's not a good thing for accounting. So I do all of my really heavy stuff in the morning, which is why I start working at 7. So by the time 1 o'clock comes around, it's like a late day for me anyways. I've already done 6 hours of staring at a computer. So hi, Chloe. There's my baby over on TikTok. Hey, yeah. And Sierra says you can call your local hospitals to let you know what they're happy accepting or running low on. And I mean, I don't know why I've not thought about that before. And Writing is Fun says goodbye, but not yet. So, all right. But I do think it is time. I'm not going to start any other projects right now. I wove in all my ends earlier because I'm a good girl. I did what I was supposed to do. And look at her. So I've got, I don't know if you can see this. It's bowing a little bit. I don't know if you could tell. It's slightly higher here and lower in the middle. If something like that is happening to you guys at all, I will tell you it is because of the thickness of the yarn. So I am working with the same brand. All of this is Hobby Lobby's. I love this yarn. Just their simple skeins of yarn that look like this, but pretend like this didn't go through the washing machine. Pretend like this isn't mostly dead. It's just the regular skeins of yarn. But because it is cheap yarn, as can be expected, we've got some inconsistencies in yarn thickness. So right now, this up here is actually thicker and puffier than this. And so these stitches are just slightly smaller. That will work itself out when I get done, because I'm using a border all in the same color. You won't be able to see that. But if this starts to happen to you guys at all, or if it looks a little wonky, especially on Tapestry, it's because we're mixing a ton of colors in the same rows, so they don't always line up. Hey, Erin, thank you for the huggy heart. I don't know what these things are called. And they don't tell me. They don't give me the names, you guys. I just have an emoji and old people eyes, and so I have to look and pretend what it is. So, anyways, you guys, thank you so much for coming by. It was amazing hanging out. I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last night that we'll work on it this week, because I go live weeknights. So come back tomorrow and let's do this again. I really enjoyed all the chats. And Sierra and Blueberry over on YouTube, thank you so much for coming by. Writing is Fun is in here all the time too. So it's always a good time to chat. And I love talking about different projects. So good night, guys. And we will see you tomorrow. Yes, Sierra, I'm glad you caught me too. I had tons of fun. Good night, Karen. I love you too, Miss Ma'am. You guys have a good night.